Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will be shortly starting our panel discussion on female entrepreneurship in times of war. Uh, I will get to it why I am here and not my colleague Nadia in a second, but we're still waiting for a couple of participants. So if you could allow us a minute or two, then we will be right back with you. Okay, I think there are still people coming in, but we will start nevertheless. It's an important and interesting subject, so the more time we have to discuss, the better. Um, Welcome, my name is Michał Woźniak. I am a part of Team Ukraine at Germany Trade Invest, and today, together with the German platform for reconstruction of Ukraine, we are hosting this meeting, this event, on the subject of female entrepreneurship in times of war. We have three very distinguished panelists today. We should have also a moderator, more, I think, shooting to the subject. Unfortunately, my colleague Nadia Bayer fell ill today, so I had to take over. I hope it's okay with you, and I will try not to speak too much so that the subject is really discussed by those in the know. As I said, all right, first some housekeeping rules. When you get into this meeting, your cameras and your microphones will be turned off. They will be turned on again during the Q&A session that we will be doing at the end. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to post them in the chat. We will answer them either during the Q&A or at the time of posting. And also, this event is being recorded, so please be aware of it. As I said, Germany Trade Invest, so the GTAI for short, the Federal Republic of Germany's International Economic Promotion Agency, is one of the partners of today's meeting. We support German companies looking for new export markets, and we support also foreign investors wanting to establish in Ukraine. To establish in Germany. We have also, of course, special service for Ukraine, the so-called business guide for Ukraine. I will post the URL shortly in the chat, so you can go and see what we have on offer. We inform about the market, the trends, the business possibilities, but also the legal and customs framework. We try to inform about all support programs for doing business in Ukraine, in Germany, but also worldwide. So if you're interested, feel free to browse through our business guide. I will come back to the other partner of this enterprise today, the platform, at the end, because there's also some maybe interesting also for you offers with the platform. So thank you for that. But now I would like to start the panel discussion. First, I would like to introduce our guest. First, Olga Kowalczuk, who is CEO of Goldbeck Solar Investment Ukraine. She studied at the National Technical University of Ukraine. After that, she went to the European University in Viadrina, and basically has based her business life, so to speak, since then in Germany. specializing in the subject of renewable energies. She's been with Goldbeck Solar for, I'm sorry, for 6 years now. She's responsible for all markets of Goldbeck Solar, reaching from both Americas to Asia. So she has quite a unique overview of the situation in all markets. And with Goldbeck Solar Investment Ukraine since last year, together with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, she's planning and developing a few solar and battery storage projects in Ukraine with a capacity of up to 500 megawatts. Our second guest, Daria Link, comes from a translation and marketing background, but she chose a quite unique sector to do it in, which is the defense sector. And since last year, she's been awarded a grant to start an initiative, a very interesting initiative called Women in Drones. I don't want to get into it because I think we will have enough time for Daria to explain herself. Just let me tell you that this initiative, although it was started basically 1 year ago, already helped around 100 women to get into this field and to further their career, so to speak. And last but not least, Katarina Shivakova, a Kiev native, studied at the Kiev National Economics University. That is now with started as in the capital investment sector, but is now in the business development at Artput Service, a construction company specializing in commercial buildings, doing from new builds through refitting, reconstruction, to basically in the whole of Ukraine. And she has, or Output Service and Katarina, who is responsible for the major clients, has been working with a lot of international companies, but also international organizations, including GIZ, also one of the partners of this meeting, but also UNICEF, the Danish Refugee Council, but also, like I said, companies, for example, like Flex or Nestle. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope we get to start a really interesting discussion. I think the mix of sectors we have represented today might not sound like the typical female sector or female-driven sector. Therefore, this is even a bigger pleasure to have you here to tell us more how it was, how it is, and how maybe you would like it to change. So maybe just like for an introduction for the people who might not know the Ukrainian market as well. Basically, Ukraine, I know it. I'm born Polish, so I also have some experience with the old system. It was a little bit different than I think in the Western world. Everyone had to work, including women. There is a statistics from 1990 that says that basically around 60% of women in Ukraine worked in jobs, whereas in the same time in Germany, this quote was below 50. So that's a huge difference. Interestingly, since then, basically it has switched. So there's now a bigger quote of German women working. Then there's Ukrainian, but of course this is all until 2021. Afterwards, everything has changed. And I think there are reasons for that, and I hope to discover them together with our panelists. So I would like to start with Katarina. As I already said, the construction industry is one of those, I would say it's immense work. But I think this is changing as well, especially in Ukraine, with the mobilization, with men going to the army. There are gaps that need to be filled. So Katarina, you've started basically in the sector 2017, I think. So could you tell us how it was back then, how women in the business were perceived back then, and did you notice any changes since then?
Yeah, thank you, Michal. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. So yes, you're right. When I joined the construction sector in 2017, women were still largely underrepresented, especially in technical and leadership roles. And they made around 20% in construction sector and mostly in administrative position rather than on-site or engineering roles. But the shift toward greater inclusion actually began before the war. More women started project management, supervision, engineering. But to be honest, war accelerated this trend dramatically. And now more and more companies are hiring women. So, for example, by 2023, according to the State Employment Service, it's already 38%, not 20. So it's almost doubled. And I believe this shift will be even more. So the change didn't start with the war, but war turned a slow evolution into a rapid transformation in terms of inclusion of women. This is my point in my sector.
Thank you very much. That is actually very encouraging, how fluid it works. And of course, the reason for all of that is not a good one. But I think there comes at least something positive from it. Daria, let's switch to another men's world sector, basically with defense. Virginia Woolf wrote in an essay that though we see the same world, we see through different eyes. Men's eyes are not ours. Men's war is not our war. What she was basically arguing is that war is largely a male enterprise, and it is rooted in patriarchal structures and not something that women pursue. And of course, it was also a man who started the war or the full-scale invasion in 22. And it were or are mostly men that fight at the front. But this is only part of the war. There's a growing army of women that support this effort from within Ukraine. And you, of course, are directly in the supporting chain, so to speak, right at the front, being within the defense industry. So when you started, we talked before, you already said that there weren't that many women around on the meetings within the sector. But could you also tell us, how was it when you started and how did it change?
Yeah, actually, when the war started itself, I think that's like each Ukrainian participated in it, even children, but everybody started to volunteer to help the way they could. So women, for a very long period of time, they had this tendency that, oh, we can do some volunteer work. And when I started my initiative, Women in Drones, is for teaching women how to assemble actually drones. It's nothing like very complicated. It's just the assembly of the drones. A really simple work that can be done by women that are we doing very successfully. And the women, I personally think that are a little bit better in that because they are more resistant, they are more neat with the small details. So whenever I first started to look for people, and I was everything in the project and HR as well, and I started to call people. And when I called one of the girls, which used to have a really good career in our firm, and now she's gone to another really interesting R&D project. She didn't ask me about the salary. That was the female position. They didn't ask me about the salary. And I said, you found this advertisement where people actually are looking for a job, and you didn't ask anything about the salary. So that was a starting point when I started to think, okay, so they're all thinking that it's volunteering. We need to change something in that. And that's how my project started. That's how the idea appeared of this project. And as Michal have mentioned before, we've taught more than 100 women since then. It's been a little bit more than a year. And they're more confident in that. And the way I see it, when we go, if we're talking about like sea level, the situation has changed a little bit, but not dramatically. Some women are represented, but not very much. And this is the positions as CFO, as rule, sometimes COO. That's all. All the CTO, so everything the technical, it's still male dominated. And all the CEOs, it are mostly males in this sphere.
Yeah, I think that's basically a worldwide problem. The glass ceiling. I don't think any economy or any country was able to break it really. But as far as I understand you, there's a little bit of positive change ongoing. Hopefully it will change soon. And because we're talking about the sea level and glass ceilings, and it's maybe great that we have somebody here who can basically be an example of this glass ceiling being broken. So I would like to now ask Olga Kowalczuk, who is Ukraine born, but came over to Germany, like I said, at the beginning of the or in the middle of the 2000s, and now has been for the last almost 3 years back within the Ukrainian business landscape as CEO, trying to arrange and to forward the projects in solar power. Olga, how hard was it to establish yourself, your presence on the sea level in Ukraine when you started there? And do you think that it's got easier in the last 2.5, 3 years?
Thank you very much, Michal, and it's great pleasure to be in touch here with everybody. To answer the question, so I think in general, I have not perceived a major hurdles establishing myself as a CEO in Ukraine. I think the background to that is simply the understanding how badly the country needs additional energy, and as energy is basically at the core of everybody's topic, it's the highest on the highest political agenda. And I need also to be very open and clear here. I think the whole engagement in Ukraine as we speak is being done at the highest political level, probably one single highest political level we've been working at the company across the globe. Again, this is the reason why I believe it was not that hard to have that establishment as a female. So it was less about the gender, but more about the credibility, about our clear target to realize new investments while taking that decision at the time of the war. What I would like to mention as well, so I think if I look at the investments in the renewables, in our specific case in the solar right now, I would like to differentiate different sectors which are responsible or which are of relevance here. So what I've seen, so if we look, for instance, and having a discussions with the project developers from whom we are acquiring the project rights, so to being able to build those projects, even in the span of that 2.5 years time, I've seen a big shift from the male-dominated environment to the female one. So more and more companies within the development sphere are right now having female CFOs and CEOs who are leading those discussions and negotiations. So this is, I think, to be noted on the positive end. On the banking sector, or in general, so investment sector, I would differentiate between two. So if we're speaking about the development finance institutions, and we are mostly, in fact, financing our project with the development finance institutions, you see a great presence of women also in the highest management positions, while on the commercial banking side, there's still a male-dominated sector. Moving to the off-takers, so basically the companies who are procuring from us the energy. Also there, I can share with you the open experience that even in the span of the latest year, so I've seen a shift where there are right now more and more female leaders sitting on the other side of the table. So to summarize, I think Ukraine is rapidly developing. So, and I think as mentioned before, so the shift is increasingly happening as we speak. So, and per se, we see a positive outreach and opportunities. So for the female leaders, but still it's very sector dependent.
Thank you, Olga. So I think we can summarize after the first part that it is going in the right directions, but there are still male strongholds. It doesn't develop the same way and the same speed everywhere. But that, of course, means that there are certain probably possibilities how to encourage this change further and how to accelerate this change as well. I mean, you see the rise of the female activities in the Ukrainian business sectors also within the statistics. In 2024, 60% of all new businesses in Ukraine were started by women. There was also a recent study by MasterCard asking about entrepreneurship, men and women, and 68% of Ukrainian women told them that they were at least considering starting a new business. Within the Gen Z generation, this was over 80%. So there is the willingness. I think the reasons why it doesn't always work out aren't that different between male and female founders. It's of course always the money. I mean, the lack of it. And there's also, especially the women were more openly saying that they feel they lack experience or they lack know-how, or in many cases also the self-confidence. But that means there are some certain hurdles, but apart from the funding thing, most of them can be overcome. And I would like to use the presence of Daria here and as well her program to maybe tell us a little bit more. What do you think are the missing activities to support women within the business world, and how exactly do you try to overcome this within your program within Women in Drones?
Well, there's a lot of actually programs that are going on in Ukraine to support women entrepreneurship. For example, we have such as DA, you probably know our application, which is where all you have all your documents or whatsoever. They tend to do in each region it's like accelerator program where you can a little bit where they educate how to open the business and whatsoever. I was very, very lucky that I had an opportunity, this grant program where where I applied for this idea. It was by USAID, and I actually was surrounded by fantastic women with really, really nice projects. Some of them were like more what you would consider female, but a lot of them were like one of the girls, they did the construction of the houses, reconstruction. They choose it's like volunteer work. They choose the houses that were destroyed by Russians, and they repaired them like everything from the scratch, even the roof, everything sopping. They did everything on their own. Females here in Ukraine, we came from, human hunger to human starvation. So people are needed in all kind of jobs, not just entrepreneurship. People start to work everywhere, and it doesn't really the matter of the gender. We just gather ourselves together and start to do the work. As for fundings as well, there's a lot of different projects, initiatives, but if we're talking about defense sector, there's no difference. They make no difference whether it's male or female. The programs are the same for everyone. And sometimes, yes, because of the perception that it's not a female domain, we don't get as much of technical expertise. So sometimes the fundings goes to the project that are more innovative. Because my project doesn't have lots of innovation in it, but still we were able to find our spot.
Thank you for that. So because of the situation Ukraine is right now, the labor market in Ukraine is right now, it basically nobody cares who it is. Everyone cares, can they do something within the scope that they are or should be in. I think this somewhat of an internal pressure probably helps to support this equality, because if you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice, and there is no speak of equality or lack thereof, or discrimination and so on and so forth. You just need the people to help you. But Olga, you were also or Goldbeck Solar is also running a program especially for female female specialists, female experts. Could you tell us about your experiences with it within this scope? Would you say that what Daria said about we need every single hand that there is available, so that does it make easier to introduce women also to the energy sector?
Thank you, Michal. So indeed, in the framework of our cooperation with EBRD, we are running the so-called Human Capital Development Program, where we are working on the specific topics of gender equality, but also the inclusions, for instance, of the veterans. It's a program that we have started. As we speak, we are doing the so-called gap analysis right now in the cooperation with a consultant, where the work is being done to identify the gaps with a specific focus, of course, on the renewables, on the solar sector, where we can support and enable the gender equality by also increasing the number of women in the renewable sector. Once finalized that gap analysis, we will be working on the special gender action plan. So where we would be considering having a specific program, again, including the women, and with a target to increase the number of women in the renewable sector. What I can share with you as we are building our first project in the framework of the joint venture as we speak, I think the topic is in general less of the women inclusion per se. It's more a lack of the workers indeed. So we are looking for the people, we are looking for the personnel, and of course we stand ready to support, including the women in the different stages. So still during the execution and construction phase, what I can tell you, it's still quite a male-dominated phase, given the physically hard works. But of course, so we are looking to see at which point of stage so the women can be including in the realization of the solar projects, and this is the program that we are running to.
It's interesting that you mentioned the construction phase and how male it is driven, because that brings us to our next speaker, to Katarina. You are in the construction industry. You already said that there's far more women right now. I think the quote has doubled more or less in the last few years. Well, it is physical work apart from what is done in the offices. How do you see a way to basically conquer this gap that you're having because of lack of or well, too little hands to work with? Do you see a chance that women can somehow fill in this gap, or do you see also, like Olga said, certain physical barriers that just can't be overcome? And how do you fill in the gaps, or how do you plan to fill in the gaps that you are having?
Thank you, Michal. Thank you, Olga, because almost the same situation we have in construction, in civil construction, not only energetics. So yes, we have no problems at sea level. So around 70% of our sea level in the office are women. So it's office workers are mostly women. So we feel it's only on the workforce level. So I don't believe we can fill this gap by women, to be honest. So of course we have, and starting now the departments with finishing works, for example, which are not very heavy works, and women can do these works, but heavy work can be made by men. And what we are doing now, we decided to move to two directions how to fill this gap. One is attracting younger specialists from either universities or technical schools to bring them right from the beginning without experience. Of course, this will put on us additional effort to teach them, but this is the only option we have in Ukraine now. And the second option is we are looking to attract foreign specialists from Moldova, from India, from Pakistan, which we really don't want to do, because we believe we can cover our needs in Ukraine. But to cover these needs in Ukraine, we need to do a lot of educational works, because construction is not really attractive neither to women nor to men. It's work where you can make money, but the people go there only when they don't have anything else. So we need to do more educational work to attract younger specialists. Of course, I believe that in next 10 years we will be full of international companies or international workers who will attract to work with us. So unfortunately, I don't believe we can fill the gap with women only.
Yeah, I think there are certain jobs, probably not only for women but also for men, that will need to wait until the technology is far enough that we can have bionic suits and everyone has the muscle power of a gorilla, even if he or she doesn't really.
But it's not about only muscles. It's about like the geographical work. So we work all around Ukraine, with close to the borderline. So it's dangerous. because not only every woman can leave their house and the family to go there. So it's both physical work and flexibility in terms of working all around the country.
Sure, and well, because you started the subject about women in certain regions, dangers, and also family life. That's also something that I actually would like to ask you, because there is, I think, I think we can agree all that there are certain, especially in the private lives, certain things that women do more often than men. Because they are better at it and because we men are just lazy sometimes. But do you feel that this, because in certain Western societies, it is partially ground upon that, for example, that women don't care for the children enough, or don't care for I don't know, the elderly, or because this is a role that is perceived as female. Do you think this is also or could be a barrier in Ukraine, and that well, the people think that women should first do the caring part and then the work part, or because of our socialistic past, this basically doesn't play a role?
A Ukrainian woman is expected to do both and still to take care of herself and to especially volunteer and to learn new things. And it's like a very, very big pressure on us, really, because we are just expected to do everything. And unfortunately, a lot of women are left alone without their husbands. And lately, I don't know if you have seen that, but there was a flash mob or whatsoever. I don't know the origin of the situation, but I believe that there's a woman, she was in maternity house and she had a baby and nobody could pick her up. So everybody is posting and reposting on social media right now that whenever you are needed, other women, I can pick you up from maternity home. I will bring you flowers and balloons, and we will support each other. The situation is that we have to do everything on our own, and sometimes we have to care for our elderly and for our husband's elderly who is on the front line. And we have to do it all, and it is expected, and it goes without the saying.
So basically, a complete overload, and maybe this is a question to Katarina and Olga, because you just have a larger company in the background. Because that's a question of Jan Zuleman in the chat. Do you see companies, because when we're speaking about this overload, about the burden of caring and so on and so forth, and do you see companies in Ukraine investing or providing like those essential services to maybe lessen this burden? So some kind of care for children, or any other support for women who need to, well, juggle both positions. I don't know, Katarina, does your company somehow support this, or is there a special scheme to support this caring necessity?
So unfortunately, not yet, but this year we joined WEPS Principles, which is United Nations Organizations for Women Empowering. And we are starting this to study this, and we will implement it lately. But for now, unfortunately, not yet, because it's always a capital investment, always time consuming. And now when we have a labor shortage on every level, so it's a little bit complicated. But I believe with the support of our international partners, we can move it in our business as well.
Thank you. And Olga, I think probably because as the investor, most of the work where really many people are involved in Ukraine will be done by subcontractors with your projects. Do you see something like this with them, or is there any kind of pressure that Goldbeck could apply to those subcontractors to basically help those women within your project, or just because?
Like From the, I think, German angle perspective, the support that we have as a company, so we have, for instance, our own kindergarten, so that every employee can apply to. So I know it's a very big and it's a very huge luxury. But then on the other side, maybe speaking about just a private experience, I think even within Germany itself, there are huge differences. Because at certain point of stage, I moved from Berlin to the southern Germany. So while in Berlin, it's quite common for both men and women to work almost on the same percentage basis. When moving to southern Germany, I was conflicted with the fact, looking for the kindergarten for my daughter, they had an opening hours, I don't know, for only 3 hours per day. So therefore you see so that even within the Germany, so there are huge difference. And I remember many times telling my daughter, no, your mom cannot be able to go to their baking of the cakes on Tuesday in 2 in the afternoon. So I think you see those differences again, even in Germany. So I think you potentially, depending on the company, you might have like a different support, a different infrastructure, and we would of course like to also to transmit our knowledge and support also within the investments that that we are structuring in Ukraine right now.
Thank you for that. Maybe one follow-up question, because you mentioned already it may differ within even one country how well this is provided or not. But you also have this broader scope, right, for reaching from the Americas to Asia. Could you somehow put maybe Europe and Germany and Ukraine like on a level? What are the differences? Are there any things that maybe in other countries work better or worse? Or and especially, of course, do you think there's potential for learnings between Germany and Ukraine as well when it comes to supporting the females in the business world?
Sorry, Michal, I think my internet connection was not that great. Apologies for that. If you could repeat.
Sure. So my question was because you are basically active within your company around the world. Do you see major differences between the countries you do business with, and do you see much potential for learning, or maybe things that could be taken over from between, of course, Germany and Ukraine first and foremost, but also from the other countries you have experience with?
Thank you for the question, Michal. Indeed, so working basically across the globe and having this broad experience, so working a lot on one side with Latin America, on the other side, Central Asia. So in particular, we are the largest investor in Kazakhstan, but also having the experience, so in Germany, in Ukraine. Indeed, I see and perceive lots of difference. So I would say having this variety, so especially Central Asia, is still there are still of stereotypes and bias in relation to the women at the sea level. So I think the country would still need to work a lot on the progress. And if comparing that, in fact, to Germany and even Ukraine, I think Ukraine has done really a great deal of work. I think part of that is a sheer reality, so that Ukraine and Ukrainian women have been pushed to overtake the jobs given the war, because literally there was not any other choice. So this was partially by not having the other choice. So this is how the inclusion of women in integration has happened. But of course, I do see so that there's still, I think, a certain lack of support and infrastructure, especially as Daria has mentioned. So you are expected to do everything in parallel, take care of kids, so take care of your business, so everything is basically on your shoulders, while Germany is maybe supporting more and have a better infrastructure, in parentheses at least taking part of this burden from your shoulders. Ukraine is simply still on the way. But I do sincerely believe that when the span of the time, so that shift is happening, and we see it already happening. So I do really look very positive in that direction also in all the conversation and all the negotiations so far. This shift is happening in front of our eyes.
Thank you, Katarina. You also work with a lot of clients from mainly the Western world. Does that play any role with the conversations with them, or are they sometimes surprised by anything in regards to like the female role in the Ukrainian business? Do you perceive it as such, or do they mention some things where you think, oh, that would be actually interesting, or is it basically business? So business, no other stuff is really interesting.
Yeah, to be honest, in my experience, I don't see the difference between countries and markets. I see the difference between people and how they behave. So, to be honest, I don't see these gaps in Ukraine and between us and European markets. So, business is business, and when I meet nice people from Western markets, I'm happy. When I meet bad people from my market, I am not happy. So, and vice versa. So, no, I don't feel the gap in women between Ukraine and Western markets, in my experience, of course.
But you would be willing to build more kindergartens in Ukraine with Artboard service, right?
Of course. We already did some reconstruction for kindergartens with international projects, and also we do shelters, because now if you build a kindergarten, a school in Ukraine, you're obliged to build a shelter for safety. So it's even more work for me.
Sure,
and
I
safe
think
environment for children, and more happy mothers when they know that children are safe.
Are safe. Yeah, I think we hear a lot about the war, but for those who weren't there, hearing something like that, that if you build a kindergarten or a school and you need to have a shelter, that is just terrifying. But you know, there are actions on the way to hopefully end this war at some point. And speaking to ending this war, going back to the defense sector. Daria, you mentioned it already. You got a grant from a program that was basically focused on supporting female entrepreneurship or women in the business. There is very often said that the programs run by the international donors are thought of by the international donors, not really. Or not always fitting to the market they are targeted at. Would you agree, or do you think that the programs, when it comes to supporting female entrepreneurship in Ukraine, do take into account the specifics of the Ukrainian market? And are there any things that you say are missing that should be maybe more focused on, or supported better?
I think that for a very long time, actually, when I applied the program Women in Drones, it was a grant made by USAID, and USAID said that they are not able to give grants to any programs that are military, defense, or even dual use. So I was given, as a part of the program, a grant with the partners, Maxpo Space. It's an IT company, but not USAID itself. So for a very long time, there were no programs or grants or whatsoever considering anything to do with defense or with military. Humanitarian, yes, probably. For example, I'm from a city that was occupied by the Russians, and I know that it wasn't demined. So for humanitarian demining, there were some grants and some programs, but not for military demining. And it's just starting a little bit. They start, or a lot of organizations start to overview. USAID, by the way, is no longer present in Ukrainian, as far as I know, in Ukrainian market. A lot of programs starts to either see dual use potential or military based, not just humanitarian. And I think that we need to support everything. And in defense field here in Ukraine, everything changes really, really, really fast. The technology, if we're talking about like standard FPV drones, the technology is valid for 4 months the most, and then you have to change something. And sometimes when you applied for some grant program or some funding, they have 6 months of waiting list, then they will probably do something, and at the time that the just business closes, you don't have any opportunities. So what I would change is the speed, of course, and the fields where money should be invested is about to change. Right now, we see a lot of either dual use opportunities or even military opportunities, but it's starting from the end of this year, not earlier.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, especially this no support for defense. That's changing. Actually, for the normal speed of international organizations and forums, that's changing at a rapid pace. I think the EU will as well open up their funding for well, at least dual use production and dual use projects. I mean, they started already to support the defense sector as such, building up capacities around Europe, especially at the eastern border of the EU. So there's a lot of change, and I think this well, also a lot more change now, I hope at least, in the supporting of well, some groups of business participants, including women, but not only that. But really the part that I'm kind of admiring about Ukraine, because we tend to talk a lot about how to change it. If it changes, it should change quicker, and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of talk in this segment. It doesn't really concern only women. That in business there are several groups that don't really get an equal chance. But because you have to, you're just doing it, and that is something that probably we as well, EU, for example, should learn before bombs or rockets start to fall here, and just go with it. That was a little bit grim. I'm sorry for that. But thank you for answering my questions. But I would like to open the floor up to questions from our participants. So Roman, if you could maybe make it possible for people to just turn on their mics. So if you have a question, please raise your hand, open up your camera and your mic, and well, we hope we can answer them. Well, not me, but the others. Maybe to break the ice, I have another question. Because one thing we didn't really mention, I think, but that is also discussed when it comes to opening more possibilities for people in the business space, is also mentoring. Do you think that there is a need for specific mentoring for female entrepreneurs? And do you have any ideas also from your experience? Did you receive any of that, or what do you think now that you've been in your businesses for several years? Where do you think that would be needed to make the start just easier for you? Any thoughts on that? Start with Olga, maybe.
I can start, Michal. Thank you. I think from my experience, women tend to be shy and presenting their knowledge or downgrading their knowledge and experience. So I think having that experience, and I would really like to encourage every single woman to speed up, to stand, to be very open and transparent. So I think this is really the right approach, and I think every person handles it in a different way. So for one, a mentoring program can be helpful, and this is for sure, if that possibility is given, can help a lot. What I can share also from the experience, so every time I am looking for new colleagues to join the team, and I'm super proud. I'm leading the most international team within the company. Unfortunately, the number of female applicants is quite low, even though I would love to have them within the review process, but this is just the facts and the hard reality. So would really like to encourage every single woman to stand up, to speak, to be open, and not underestimate her values and her experience.
And to follow the job offers by Goldbeck Solar. I don't know, Daria, Katarina, would you like to add something, or should we take the next questions in the chat?
I would like to add something because within our company, we mentor everybody because every single position that we have has been filled with the applicants who just wanted to come and build a drone. And everybody, we just even forced yesterday, yes, really forced our HR, which has nothing to do with drones, but we said to her, you have to know how to build a drone. So she was studying yesterday how to do it. So every position at the company, it started with the people who applied just to join the company, and then we grew them to be even the alumni of our first group of girls who studied. She's my technical director right now, my right hand and everything, and I'm very, very proud to have her on my team and very proud to see them grow.
It's kind of this Japanese approach that even the CEO needs to know how the production works, and the first time they are at the company, they need to go through all the stages. Yeah, I think that's a very good concept. But I would like to open the floor to questions from our audience right now, and I have Mrs. Ellen Bommersheim first.
Thank you, and thank you for your inspiring input. So Compass is a public business incubator and international from the city of Frankfurt, and I would love to inspire all participants, and especially women and existing business from Ukraine, to get in contact with the local business incubators and technology centers, because we on the local level, we are running so many programs for Ukrainians, female Ukrainians starting and running businesses here in Frankfurt, and also going abroad and doing business worldwide. So have a look. This is more or less a comment. Have a look on the local level in Germany or wherever you are, and find out where is the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and there, and organizations like Compass could be like a gateway to further business. And once again, I was working for Ukraine in so many projects, and I'm very optimistic. I'm always optimistic, and but it's starting here. So please have a look, and everywhere in Germany. There is already a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Bommersheim. Maybe for our Ukrainian participants also, Dia City Dia Business, sorry, is also doing in a lot of the Ukrainian regions programs for women, specialized in different aspects, but mostly really the way from well, not knowing what I want to do, to being capable at least to run their own business, integrating know-how on marketing, on bookkeeping, on everything. So if you want to start up a business, that's also, and you are in Ukraine, of course, that's something you can use. And as Mrs. Bomersheim said, there are a lot of local activities in Germany as well, not only from the business side, not only from public organizations, but especially from the incubators, from the hubs, a lot of programs that you can use to well get better into the business side of things. Mr. Süleyman, Sie haben noch eine Frage.
Ja, vielen Dank. Meine Kamera ist noch aus. Thank you very much for the many insights from Ukraine. We just recently had a study on the environment for women to also start a business. We are looking more into closer to frontline or hardly affected areas. And I assume most of your companies are located in the safer Western areas. But I'm wondering if you have, no, you're not? Okay, great. Then I would wonder, like, beyond your own companies, is there any form of cooperation between local companies to look into things like availability of kindergartens, and also what I think Olga just mentioned, building those motivational and empowering kind of training models for women who just to realize what potential they really have, right? It's often the shyness aspect comes out. Also, this downgrading of their own experience is something that we see in many places. And also looking at those specific areas, I think, things like personal losses and depression and daily stresses also hamper people's productivity and ability to concentrate at the workplace. So I'm wondering, do your apprenticeships and training models also address these aspects well enough, or would you say this is definitely an area where our own companies could improve, offering mental health services or so, also through the company channels, or if you know of local incubation centers closer to the frontline areas and how they offer these types of trainings. Yeah, so for me, much of the questions, and that came out of our recent study, relates to the care services. Yeah, that is definitely one thing that holds women back from trying new jobs or trying to set up their own type of business. And the other part is the personal motivation relating to the general shyness factors and things like loss and depression that can definitely be a drain on people's abilities. So I'm wondering if you see potential there to engage more in these forms of trainings and services in the areas that you are targeting.
Thank you, Mr. Süleyman. Any input on that? Would somebody like to take it?
Maybe I will do a very quick insight from my side. It's a very interesting topic that you are addressing right now. In fact, actually, and this is a quite new development also within our company, we have introduced centrally a mental health program, exactly so to address the topics that you just elaborated. So it's basically it's an external service, so that is available to each single employee within our company. So in the specific situations of your life, so that you can address the issues on the entirely confidential basis where the experts provide you the support. And I believe especially working in Ukraine, especially, so being exposed to a different challenges, especially different risks, so from the mental strengths, etc. perspective, I think this can be helpful. And so I'm just seeing that it's a helpful program and a new experience, so that potentially other companies can look into.
Thank you, Olga. Maybe Katarina, because your company is, like I said, active in the whole of Ukraine, but you have a lot of projects as well, well, to the eastern side of Kiev, so to speak, near the border as well, near the front. Do you or are you able to use such services externally, or do you offer any support for your workers in this regard?
To be honest, working is prefrontal line like Chernigiv, Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Kherson districts, Slaviansk, Kramatorsk. It is so stressful that you don't have time to think about your mental health. You are thinking about survival. You are thinking about your kids' survival. If you're a woman with kids, so to be honest, this like we need to heal the whole nation. It doesn't differ where you're located because all Ukraine is under attack. People who are more closer to borderline, they're I think the most healthiest people, because they live there, they survive this, they operate there, they work there, they do their daily works. So I don't know. I don't believe in these services now. Maybe after the war finishes, but to my point of view, I when I'm busy, when I do a lot of work, when we are deciding how to do logistics to Slaviansk or Kramatorsk, when no driver wants to go there, when we are trying to organize the process somewhere where the environment is not friendly at all. So you don't think about mental health. You think about the results, and this what moves you forward.
Yeah,
I would like to
Oh,
comment
sorry.
as well. We have, first of all, we have first aid courses, not mental health courses. And lately, my girls gave me a whistle, which you can put to your keychain, because everybody has to have whistles in case of strikes. We have these water bottles everywhere and everything else. We do have the opportunity because we have a licensed psychologist, and she's given like multiple times the link to book an appointment with her. As far as I know, it happened just once, and she's been with us for more than 3 months. Just once, and it was work-related issue. It was not about mental health. But lately I saw a grant program for women, female leadership, and you had to actually divide the grant in 2 parts. The first part, you can buy some equipment whatsoever for your firm, and the second part you have to use to on your mental health as a female leader. So probably it's not too late to apply, or I will try to do it. So yeah, it's just a little bit different when you are over here. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't really work. And we had several women whose husbands died at the war, and they said this like very repeatedly same work actually works as some kind of helps them mentally very much. One of the girls, she said, finally I find something that doesn't irritate me. I do something that doesn't irritate me.
Yeah, thank you, Daria. Daria, I think compartmentalizing when you're in it is probably a strategy that many people follow. But I think this mental health aspect is one that it's already there, but it will come back even stronger after the war, which will hopefully is very close. So Mr. Suleiman, maybe a little bit more patience, and then the extent and the need will present itself even stronger than it does today. And we're over the time already, so thank you very much. Thank you for all the questions, and especially thank you to Daria, Katarina, and Olga for participating in our panel.